Welcome everyone to episode number 800 of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as NoDQ.com's affiliate RingsideNews.com. Thank you all so much. Whether this is your first time watching or your 800th time watching, I would like to thank you all for tuning in to today's video and spreading the word about NoDQ&A video. I appreciate all the feedback and support from you guys. Real quick before I get to your questions today on this extended edition, this is the Simpsons Bret Hart action figure with the NoDQ.com championship belt. You can get one of these belts for your action figure or for whatever purpose you have at etsy.com/shop/badbillyj. I will have a link posted in the description box. You can get various championship belts as well as your own custom championship belts or the NoDQ.com championship belt. With that out of the way, let's get down to your questions today. Got lots of your questions, lots of topics to cover. First one today comes from I'm Savaged. Hey Aaron, where will Randy Orton be when he returns? Main event or mid-card title? Hashtag miss the beard. Hashtag episode 800. I expect Randy Orton to continue being a main eventer in WWE. I would like to see him more in a Brock Lesnar type role where he is a part-timer and he has special appearances and he goes up against top-tier opponents at major pay-per-views, and you keep him off of the main television shows and make him more of a special attraction. You could still have him on Raw every now and then, but make him more like Brock Lesnar in the sense that he's a special attraction now. Who do I see him feuding with when he returns? I could see him going up against somebody like Kevin Owens. I think that Randy Orton will be reacted to by the fans as a babyface. I think that's what's best for him at this stage of the game. I could see Orton and Owens having a memorable feud in WWE, maybe even having a match at SummerSlam, for instance. But that's what I'm expecting from Orton, for him to continue to be one of the top guys in the company, but he'll be working with some of the younger talent and helping to elevate the younger talents. Alright, this one comes from Sean T. Flick. Thoughts on John Cena's first feud being with Baron Corbin when he returns? It gave KO a good start on the main roster last year. The problem with that is I could see John Cena winning the first match, or maybe Baron Corbin gets lucky and wins the first match, and then John Cena wins the next 3 rematches. With John Cena, again, I think it would be better to make him more of a special attraction like Randy Orton, but knowing Cena, he'll be back full force, doing all the live events, being a regular on television. Maybe Orton will too, for that matter. But the key is at this point to make John Cena and Randy Orton useful as they get older and become legends in WWE rather than the current top superstars. You want to use Cena and Orton's star power to help elevate the younger talent. But at the same time, there's still mileage in John Cena and Randy Orton being top tier guys in WWE, and they have value. But you want it so John Cena can feud with people like Baron Corbin, and people like Corbin can benefit from feuding with Cena. Will Cena feud with Baron Corbin? That remains to be seen, because I'm not sure if Corbin is going to be positioned at a top level, even as high as somebody like Kevin Owens. The fact that Ziggler has already beaten Corbin really says a lot at this point, that Corbin's not really a guy that WWE is going to push really strongly. I'm expecting Cena to perhaps get in the US title picture again, and if that is the case, then you could certainly have John Cena defend the US title against Baron Corbin. And as I've mentioned before, I'm expecting John Cena and Roman Reigns to have a big match against each other, whether it's at SummerSlam or WrestleMania or another pay-per-view. That seems to be inevitable. Alright, this one comes from John Workman. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on Adam Rose getting arrested? Congrats on 800 episodes of NoDQ&A video. Well, thank you for that. It's really disappointing. It's really unfortunate for Adam Rose. Things were already looking bad for him with the 60-day suspension. And now he's got this domestic issue, apparently with his wife. WWE has indefinitely, as of this video, suspended Adam Rose. He is gone until this case moves forward, whether they decide to prosecute or whether or not it's dropped. I think WWE is waiting for the outcome of that before they make a final decision on his fate. But it's certainly not looking good. If Adam Rose gets released now, I mean, it was already looking like he would probably never have a significant position in WWE again, even if he came back from the suspension. But now, it's really not looking good. With WWE looking for any reason to get rid of somebody, this is just something that could be the end of Adam Rose's career in WWE, and this could be the final nail in the coffin for him, unfortunately. I just hope that whatever he's going through on a personal level, he's able to work out, because it seems pretty obvious that he's got some issues right now in his personal life that need to be dealt with. Alright, this one comes from Angelo C. Hey Aaron, if you were a current writer for WWE, what current storyline would you push and which current storyline would you drop? Interesting question. If I was running WWE, there would be a lot of storylines I would drop, to be honest with you. I would keep the AJ Styles Roman Reigns feud. I think that is one of the more intriguing feuds in WWE right now, but I want to see something happen with Roman Reigns, whether him going heel, maybe even the Usos going heel. I would stop fighting that. So if I was going to drop a storyline, I would drop this storyline of Roman Reigns being the new John Cena, the new superhero who rises above hate, who kicks out of everything. He's the new Superman. I would just drop that and just go with what the fans want and stop fighting it. Turn Roman Reigns heel and see where it goes. WWE's not going out of business one way or another, so why not just try it? Do something different. And as far as which storylines I would push, like I said, I would push that storyline with AJ and Roman Reigns. I would also push the split between Shane and Stephanie and really take it to the next level. I mean, right now, it feels like the writing team isn't sure where to go with this storyline, and I would like to see this storyline develop on a week-to-week basis and continue to escalate and move a bit quicker and have the storyline progress. Right now, it just seems like there's no clear direction as to where it's going. One would think it's going to eventually lead to either an invasion or brand split or something, some kind of significant storyline, maybe control of WWE, a big match at SummerSlam. But I would like to see this storyline progress more and give people more of a reason to tune in every week to see the next chapter of the storyline unfold. Alright, this one comes from Nicola. Hey Aaron, what is your dream matches for the men, women, and tag teams? For the men, I would love to see, I guess you're talking about WWE. In WWE, I would like to see AJ versus Nakamura on the main roster, just to see what they could do and let them go out there with no limitations. Let them steal the show and have the best match possible. For the women, I would like to see Sasha Banks win the title, and maybe eventually Trish Stratus comes back and challenges Sasha for the women's title. Or even Lita in that role against Sasha Banks. Have one of the all-time great Attitude Era divas come back and face the current top women's star. And for tag teams, I would like to see the New Day against the Hardy Boys. One day the Hardy Boys come back to WWE, have them challenge the New Day if the New Day are still tag team champions and if they're still even a thing by the time the Hardys come back. That would be a great match to see the best team, arguably the best team, I would say the best team of this era, against one of the best teams of the Attitude Era. Alright, this one comes from James Walsh. Hey Aaron, do you think the Global Cruiserweight series on WWE Network will see an increasing impact on indie wrestling companies' sales? Absolutely. It should definitely help the indie companies that are affiliated with WWE. I think it's good for business. It's good for WWE because it shows that WWE is paying more attention to the indies, and you'll have more of the indie fans showing respect to WWE, and of course it helps the smaller companies get more recognition. So I definitely think it will help them to work with WWE and have that positive relationship. Alright, this one comes from Lewis. With New Day being over and selling the most merch during WrestleMania weekend, do you see one of them winning the World Heavyweight Championship at some point? Interesting question, because I think the New Day is really successful as a group. If they were to split up, I question how far they would go as individuals. I think that Big E has the potential to be a top star if he's given the opportunity, but New Day is so strong right now as a unit. I do not want to see them break up. I think there's no need to break them up, but maybe one day if the time comes and it's inevitable, New Day isn't going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. I think that Big E would have the best chance of the three of them to possibly get into the world title picture. Alright, this one comes from Junaid. Do you think WrestleMania 31 was the greatest WrestleMania of all time? I personally think it was. Definitely not. WrestleMania 31 was a very entertaining show, but it was not even close to the best WrestleMania. I would say WrestleMania 17 will probably go down as the all-time greatest WrestleMania. WrestleMania 19 was another great one. WrestleMania 31, I mean, it's certainly in my top 10, and it's close to the top 5. You know, I would rank it maybe number 6 or number 7. It's up there among the best WrestleManias. I mean, I don't even think it was as good as WrestleMania 30. And I would also say WrestleMania 20 was better, and I've gone back and forth between 21 and 31, which one I liked more. 31's definitely up there, though. Definitely a better than average WrestleMania. Alright, this one comes from Jared Jaysmith. Hey Aaron, what are your overall thoughts on WrestleMania 18? And should WWE do more outdoor pay-per-view events? I enjoyed the atmosphere of WrestleMania 31 being outdoors, so I think it would be fine to do more events in an outdoor stadium. You just want to make sure you're doing it in an area that has warm climate, and San Jose was a good place because it's a little bit more inland than San Francisco, which is known for having cooler weather. And it was about 80 degrees, so if anything, it was too hot that day. That's a problem. You cannot control the weather, and that's the risk you take whenever you're doing an outdoor event, that the weather could complicate things. So maybe that's why WWE doesn't do it as much, but you know, they had that opportunity to do the show at Levi's Stadium, and things worked out really well. And the crowd was still hot through the entire show, despite it being hot outside. They were literally hot for the entire show, which I think was a good thing. I wasn't expecting that. I thought with 80-degree weather, the fans would get burned out easier, but they stayed into the show. Now, regarding WrestleMania 18, I thought it was a good WrestleMania, not a great WrestleMania. Obviously, Hogan versus The Rock stole the show. That is what people remember from that WrestleMania. A lot of other matches were disappointing. The main event, Triple H and Chris Jericho, was very disappointing. And there wasn't really enough on that show that was noteworthy besides Hogan and Rock. I will say Undertaker versus Ric Flair was a really good match, and that one is definitely worth checking out again. Alright, this one comes from Dave Lesnar. Hey Aaron, what for you is the most outlandish WWE creative idea that was rumored to happen but never did? The one I heard about was Vince McMahon wanting to do an incest angle with Stephanie. This is the story that's been going around, that he wanted to do this and Stephanie and everybody else shot it down. I'm not sure how accurate that is, if it's really true or not, or if people are just exaggerating, who knows. But I wouldn't rule it out with Vince. Vince is crazy sometimes. He has some crazy ideas. That is definitely, I think, perhaps going too far. And of course, the one that did happen, of course, was Katie Vick. That was the most outlandish storyline that actually did happen, but that did not happen would be that rumored incest angle with Vince and Stephanie. Alright, this one comes from Marcus S. Who are the 5 WWE wrestlers who are most loved by the IWC? AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and in NXT I would say definitely Nakamura. And I was going to say Daniel Bryan, but he's gone now. Take your pick between Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, guys that are really loved. I mean, Damian Sandow, even though he's been released, he's been one of the most beloved guys. And of course, how can I forget Cesaro? Cesaro's right up there at the top. Alright, this one comes from NoDQ&A fan. Hey Aaron, do you prefer the current women's title, or do you think they should have brought back the old one from the Attitude Era to 08? I like the fact that they had a new championship introduced rather than bringing back the old women's title. I like the fact that it looks like the male's World Heavyweight Championship, only it's the female version. I actually thought that that was a very good idea, and it puts the women's division at an equal level as the male division. I'm totally fine with it. I like what they did with the new championship. Alright, this one comes from Ben Jarman. Who is the best seller in history and today? I would say Mr. Perfect and Matt Sydal. Shawn Michaels. I mean, Mr. Perfect was great during his era. He was one of the best, but nobody sold better than Shawn Michaels. You watch back on those ladder matches, the bumps that he took. He made everybody look like $1 million. And speaking of making other people look like $1 million, Ric Flair. Ric Flair took so many crazy bumps for people, and that's why he always preferred working as a heel, because he could take the bumps and he could make the other guy look good. He was better being on the defensive than being on the offensive as a babyface. Flair and Michaels were in a league of their own, and Mr. Perfect as well. And today, you know, many people would say Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he is compared very often to Shawn Michaels in terms of his bump taking, and he's definitely one of the best. Alright, this one comes from Daniel Jobber. Was there any point at all for Sin Cara to go over Rusev when Rusev is about to have a title match against his partner? That was really dumb. That was definitely one of those head-scratching booking decisions by WWE. You're trying to build up Rusev as a credible challenger to Kalisto. Although, see, that's why the logic is so backwards here, because you shouldn't have to make Rusev look weak against his opponent. I mean, in this case, everyone thinks Rusev is the favorite to beat Kalisto. And I guess WWE's mentality is, since everyone thinks Rusev is going to destroy Kalisto, we have to show that Rusev is capable of losing. It's backwards. It should be where the champion is the guy that you feel that nobody can beat, and you want to establish the challenger as a credible force to go up against the champion. The way they have it is just ass backwards right now. So yeah, having Sin Cara beat Rusev, I mean, really, it just makes Rusev look weak, and it makes Kalisto look weak. I mean, not really a fan of that booking at all. Alright, and I like this guy's username here. This one comes from, saves me the time of reading the name, at 6 Potato Kings. Longtime viewer, first time asker. Who do you think is the most talented wrestler that could never fit in the main event? I hate to say it, because I like the guy a lot. I like Sami Zayn, but I find it hard to believe that he'll be in the main event as one of the top guys in WWE. They're calling him the underdog from the underground, and that is basically his character. He's like Rey Mysterio. He's the biggest little man. That's the type of character he's playing. I find it hard for him to fit in the main event. He might get there. It might take a lot of luck, but maybe one day Sami Zayn will be in the WWE title picture. I just find it hard to believe that he'll get there. But he is certainly as good as anybody in the company. And Nakamura might be another one, but it's really hard to say how the company will utilize him once he gets to the main roster. But Nakamura being the WWE champion would surprise me a lot. Him and Sami Zayn, I find it hard to believe they'll make it that far, but you never know. I mean, as they say, the cream rises to the top, and these guys might somehow be able to get there despite every obstacle being thrown in their way, similar to what happened with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Alright, this one comes from Cheese. Lord forbid this, but if the New Day were to ever break up, which member would be the one to turn in your opinion, and why? I think that Xavier would be the one to turn on his partners. I think that Big E, as I mentioned earlier, has the most potential to be a WWE champion contender in WWE. And if that's the case, I think he would be better off as a babyface, although he could be a heel. Xavier, I just feel because of his speaking abilities that he would work better as a heel. And Kofi, of course, we know what he can do as a babyface, and I think it's easy for him to just be the babyface of the group. Big E could really go either way, but I feel of the three, Xavier would definitely be the one to turn on his two partners. Maybe Big E, if Big E's going to go off and have this major singles run. That's also a possibility as well. Alright, this one comes from Stefan. Do you see Becky ever winning the World Championship? She's so talented, but always pushed under Sasha and Charlotte. With her, she seems to be gaining more momentum despite not getting a huge push in WWE, and that could be a good sign for her that the fans are very much behind her. And Sasha seems to be losing some momentum. I don't know what's going on with her. I've been getting people asking me about her status in the company. If Becky continues to get loud reactions and she continues to be on television, anything's possible. She very well could become women's champion one day. Maybe if WWE does go through with Sasha winning the title, maybe eventually we'll see Sasha versus Becky for the women's championship, and Becky will be next in line to get a run with the championship. That's also a possibility. Alright, this one comes from Jishnu. Hey Aaron, don't you think that Luke and Karl should beat the New Day instead of the Vaudevillains or Enzo and Cass, and this would give them more momentum? I think I would agree with that. I could see the Vaudevillains winning the tag team titles, maybe even having a brief run, but of the two teams between the Vaudevillains and the Club, I think the Club has more long-term potential to be top guys in WWE. The Vaudevillains seem to be more of a novelty act, and it's more about the gimmick. With the Club, these guys are hopefully going to be positioned as a top tag team in WWE, and they should have more mileage than the Vaudevillains. At least that's what I'm expecting. And because of that, WWE may want to let the New Day retain the titles and eventually lose to the Club. But I could really see it going either way. Either the Vaudevillains beating New Day, or maybe down the line, the Club beats the New Day. But yeah, that would definitely give them a lot of momentum. Alright, that'll wrap it up for episode number 800 of NoDQ&A Video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's extended edition, please share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, any website you go on. Anybody you know who watches wrestling, have them check out NoDQ&A Video, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Extreme Rules, and I will see you guys next time.